Okay, it says I'm live. Just going to sit up here and see when I get started here early this Sunday morning. Coming live from my office upstairs. See how good the signal is and see how good of a program we get going today. Oh, man. I've got a busy day planned ahead. I'm going to go get a sewing machine so I can do upholstery for my so I can do upholstery for my vehicles and everything. So that's going to take up some time today. Of course, I'm gonna get out the old 55 and drive it up there. That I'm gonna buy the sewing machine from the family of a good friend of mine that I actually bought the 55 from. So it's going to be kind of a twofold thing. I'll let them see what I've done to the 55 and buy that at the same time. But I hope everything's coming through loud and clear. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Next year, what do you? I'm not following you, Jamie. What do you mean next year? Next, you got me confused. Next year, I hope we have a new president. If that's what you mean, uh, I hope we have some changes in the making. Let me take a little bit of swig of my Sprite there. How's the signal coming through? Is the signal coming through good, Jamie? I'm I'm upstairs in my office and kind of depending on how good of a wireless signal I get. Oh, and NC State, yeah, yeah, maybe next year. I don't know. I don't know if we'll have as good a team as we had this year. Of course, this team was just mediocre most of the way through. It just right at the end of the season that they they've got had a fire lit under them, and they had some moments of brilliance and really good. But I think UConn and Purdue are really the best, probably the best two teams in the nation. They got two of the biggest guys in the nation playing and everything. So that maybe so. We'll see. UConn's. I don't know. Of course, Purdue played pretty tough. That boy for Purdue's. They're both like 7'4". I think they're centers. So we'll see. Well, how's my signal coming? Is it coming through good? My signal and the audio and everything, is it coming through good, Jamie? Uh, I hope it is. I hope it is. Sorry to hear about your sister and everything, as you were stating the other day to me. Sorry to hear about that. And, it happens to all of us. I lost a brother, a couple, well, it'll be 3 years in September that I lost my brother. So I do understand your pain on that. It's tough. It's tough to lose a sibling. So I was close to my brother. He had worked for me for about 25 years, and he and I were real close. So it was tough losing him, and still is. I mean, it's still a tough thing. But time marches on until it doesn't. I guess you might say, and that's that's what happens to all of us as we all get older, and even if we're not old, a lot of young people are taken away from us too. We don't know. We don't know that. I'm gonna have to drink some drink here, guys. I'm back to I was doing the regular videos with the computer, and of course this one's just the laptop. I hadn't been doing the other kind, but it seems it looks good on this end. I hope it looks fine. Is the audio and the video good on y'all's on y'all's end, guy? Because I cannot tell through YouTube, uh, since I don't have a second monitor running or anything. I can't tell how good the signal is, so I'm dependent on the. Oh, you're headed back to Pensacola, are you? Well, you have a lot of work down there, it seems like, which is good. That's good. That's good that you do have a lot of work in that area. If you're coming through this area or what, if you're coming through Charlotte again, you let me know and we'll go out to eat again or do something like that. And I've got some plans. Barbara and I are going to be adding on a couple of shed buildings and everything at near my shop and out in the pasture where we've cleared out some things. So I've got a lot of plans for the future here. You always want to kind of plan for the future and spend a little bit here, spend a little bit there, do different things. I'm always trying to come up with some ideas, and Barbara is too. She came up with a good one yesterday, and I liked her idea of what we want to do up at our building. So we're going to probably move forward with that and try to improve the looks of the entrance at coming into our home. We're going to put a new gate up, and also we're going to put a gate up and then change some, arrange some difference on the way our building's set up too. So I think it's going to look nice. I think it'll look nice what we're planning. So we'll see. We'll go with the boss lady, whatever she decides. And like they say, if Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So I'm gonna try to make sure that Mama's happy on this. And so far, so good. She seems to be seems to have a pretty good idea. Well, like I said, my team lost yesterday, like Jamie was talking about, NC State, where Barbara, my wife, went to school, and her dad and her brother and my son and my grandson is presently down at NC State. But we lost in the Final Four yesterday, but no big deal. I mean, I like NC State for educational purposes. My grandson and son and all have gotten good educations from NC State. So I mean, my son's an engineer, and my grandson's studying to be an engineer also. And we're happy to support NC State because of that, and not just the athletic part. I mean, so many people, base everything on just what the school is athletically, and this is not what I'm all about with that. I mean, we want our grandson to get a great education, and that's what it's all about. Well, yeah, as I was saying, I'm going to be headed up the road after lunch to pick up a sewing machine, and Barbara wants to look at a Cadillac, like a 1955 or 56 Cadillac. We don't know. I don't know which year model Jerry had up there, but we're going to maybe look at a Cadillac. Hey, James, how are you? Glad to see you in here this morning. But we're going to try to do that, pick up a sewing machine. And we're going to have it so we can do some interior work on these older cars that I'm working on right now. I mean, we've got the all the metal working equipment, pretty much what we want. We got all the presses and we got the finger press, we got the regular press, we got the shears, we got the rolling machine, I don't have an emery wheel. That's about the only thing, but we're not molding too much into that I need it. That and then I've got the plasma cutters and all the plasma cutter and the welders. So when it comes to metal works, we're set pretty good. But when with upholstery, I'm not. So and you get into situations that yeah. Now, what year model do you have, James? Um, yeah, I'm not the one that's so much interested. My wife is, believe it or not. Um, my dad had a 53, and I would have liked to have that 53 back. And my buddy Jerry, of course, like I said, Jerry passed on about 3 years ago. About 3 years ago this month, actually. Uh, and his family's been selling off everything he collected over the years. He was big into Corvettes and big into a lot of other stuff. Yours only had 17,000, 69. Yeah. Coupe de Ville convertible. You had a Boss Hog. You had a Boss Hog Cadillac, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah. My dad had a 68 Coupe de Ville. I'm not into that year model. I like 50s. I'm more into 50s cars than I am 60s, except when it gets into the muscle car. I like the muscle cars in the 60s. Sold yours about a year and a half ago. Okay. Yeah, but I'm not much into the larger big Cadillacs and stuff like that. But I guess my life. I mean, I got a variety of likes. I like some of the 20 like my coupe. I like it. I've always wanted a coupe, which I was able to get. I like it, and then I like some of the 30s and 40s cars. Not as many in the 40s. I'm not a fan of the 40s vehicles, but the 30s, I like some of the 30s. We had a 37 Chevy pickup, and I would have liked to have that back. I saw one the other day. Guy had a 37 Ford pickup that seemed to be fixed up nice, and then I almost kind of pulled the trigger on a 30 34 sedan, but there was just a little bit something about it I didn't particularly like, and I didn't do anything on it. But we're going to go look at what Jerry has. What Jerry has is a little bit rougher. I mean, it's going to require some work, and if his family doesn't want too awful much, I might pull the trigger on that. Hey, good time. How are you? Good morning. Yeah, but it just depends on what they want and that sort of stuff. I'm not going to bite off more than we can chew. We're doing pretty good with our 56 Pontiac. Jim's pretty well completed the floorboards. I have to show you some pictures. He did a real good job on the floorboard, putting all the metal back in that, and he painted that up Friday. Finished painting that up Friday, and then we're going to move on to some other areas on that. We'll have to undercoat it and soundproof it and a few other things. I've been soundproofing a pretty good bit on these cars. I'm going to kind of keep this Pontiac pretty much original, but even original, it'll look nice if we put it back. If we put it back pretty much original, I think it's going to look pretty nice. But getting back to my story, I like, it's a variety of different things that I like. I mean, when I see it, I know if I like it or not. And like I mean, I love a 57 Chevy, 55 Chevy. I um, like the muscle cars of the 60s, pretty much all of those. I mean, I had a variety. I mean, I like, Ford, Plymouth, Pontiac, Cutlass, all across the board. All of them had some good muscle cars in the 60s that I liked, 442s, GTOs, uh, Chevelles, Mustangs, Road Runners, even you go back to the Plymouth Fury and all different ones like that I liked. It was just something about that era. Of course, I was a teenager in that era, so that's one reason I liked it so good. Well, that's good, James. I mean, that's what it takes too. And I'm trying to, you know, be cognizant of where my vehicles are. I mean, some of them, like I said, I got the street rods, and then some of them are original. Like my Mustang convertible, it's original. It's a 6-cylinder. No, we haven't done a thing to it other than, fix it back up. But we put some new floorboards in it and fix it up and have it running good. Put a new carburetor on it, painted it, uh, and detailed it out. But that's all we have done to it. Period. But it is what it is when it comes to that. You got to make a decision. How much do I want to work on these vehicles, and what do I want to work on? Your dad had a 68 Olds Toronado. Yeah. Yeah. I had a buddy that had it. And when we were in high school, had the big Toronado front wheel drive. Yeah. Big front wheel drive car. It had a monster of an engine in it, but it took it because that car was a huge car. And that always, when you talk about tanks, those Toronados, they look like a tank, in my opinion. That was a big car. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 454, 50, 455. Very big engine. Those things would suck the gas too. My dad, my father-in-law had a couple of Buicks with a big 450 something in it. And gosh, uh, when Barbara and I first got married, and I was in between jobs, and we were struggling along and everything, and I didn't have a real good car. He gave me an old Buick that he'd quit. I mean, he had put 100 and something thousand on it. And he gave it to us, so I didn't have to go out and buy a car. And I couldn't afford the gas in it. I mean, gas has already jumped at that time up over $1 and something a gallon, which was a lot back in the 70s. That'd be the equivalent of $4 or $5 now. And I couldn't afford the gas. I mean, I wasn't making, but what was I making? $4.50 an hour, 440 or something like that an hour for a 40-hour week. And for that thing to get that bad of fuel mileage, I could drive it to work and back, which wasn't but about 3 or 4 miles away. But I couldn't take it on a trip, that's for sure. It was tough. It was tough. Well, guys, I am not going to labor on with a program very long today. I've got a lot of things on my mind and a lot of things to do. So I'm going to cut today's program short. I know everybody will understand. Yeah, but I've got to go up and do some things and go up and do some things that I won't have time if I don't take off time now. So I'm going to prepare myself to do that. I'm going to cut the program a little bit short, and I'm going to see y'all next week, if not before then. I've been telling Barbara I need to do some regular videos and not just rely on my Sunday morning chat. But as it stands now, I'm gonna cut this one short glad to get out here, but I didn't have a lot to say other than I'm going to be busy today. So to get my work done, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'll catch y'all next week. See you around.